And we're back. Cigar City Sports Podcast, baby! NFL Week 2. Here with my boy Ryan. How you doing, buddy?
I'm swell, sir. How are you?
Oh, I'm so good. Thank you for asking. Mr. Nello, what's the word?
I'm feeling great. I don't like that bullshit with like we are them boys crap last.
That's the third time he said it. Oh my God. So if you didn't listen to the college episode, that was a really transformative episode for Nello. He really found himself. Go listen to it. He finally was like, you know what, guys? Enough denying it. We them boys, the Cowboys are really going to rebound. Nello, I was proud of you, man.
I never said that.
We shed a couple tears, and Camilo was here. What's up, Camilo?
You know, I got to say, I think you identify as an Eagles fan, but deep down, you're a Cowboy.
Oh, don't start this.
We really pulled some skeletons out of that closet in the college episode.
It was like a freaking therapy session.
We dug deep. Yeah, we dug deep. Yeah.
Man, your dream journal is about to get all kinds of stars.
I'm not even going to give you what you guys want. I'm not giving you the reaction.
You just said we them boys on this podcast.
I know.
Literally, that was the first thing you said.
I fucking slipped. Disgusting. I'm sorry, Eagle Nation.
Was that like a Freudian slip then?
I'm sorry, Eagle Nation. I
think they call that a Jonesian slip.
Oh, that's right.
For Jerry.
Fantasy football, big week for you, Papa.
That's right. Your boys undefeated. Both leagues I won. Let's go.
Nice.
As did I. And I would
say,
also like to, quick public service announcement. Man, we got to stop the black on black violence. The way I beat the brakes off of you, AB. It wasn't right. It was not right.
Did he at least get triple digits?
No,
nah,
he did not.
I almost beat him by 100.
At one point, it was 159-56, and I had other guys that are in this league texting me going, yo, who's this guy? And I was like, that's my buddy AB. He didn't have a great week. Hey,
did
buddy.
He set his lineup? Or?
He did. He set part of his lineup on this podcast.
He did.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. What a big week. And my biggest week came from Mr. Patrick Mahomes. 5 touchdowns. He couldn't miss. He couldn't miss a damn thing.
Yeah.
It was really a great week of football. It's so good to be back. But I tell you what, this week is going to be revenge week. And this is one of those things. Week 1 of the NFL is one of those things where everybody starts to make their predictions for the entire NFL season based off of one game.
Which is basically late preseason.
Yeah.
Week 1.
So week 1 is late preseason. I'm so glad you said that because there are so many players that saw a drive. There's no consistency. There's no chemistry. There's no nothing, especially on offense.
The NFL isn't really full speed until about week 5, week 6. That's when you see the teams that you start to see who is really going to be a playoff contender, who really has it built to go the full distance into the playoffs and possibly deep in the playoffs. So
a lot of things change. So that's what I wanted to get from everybody before we start going into games for this week. Is what is your week 1 doomsday prediction that people are saying right now? I've got mine. I'll start. I think the people that are saying that Aaron Rodgers is falling off and lost without his weapons and that Green Bay is done, I cannot go against that enough. Because year in, year out, and I know Davante Adams is gone. But he also had that rookie that he hit in the hands wide open that first drive that could have changed the tone for the entire game. I think people that are already writing off Rodgers and the Packers, they are aplenty. And I don't think that the pack is going to be that far gone like everyone thinks they are.
They say that about Aaron Rodgers every year, is that he's fallen off, no weapons, etc.
Yeah.
But at some point it has to be true. He's 38 now, 39 or something like that.
With no weapons.
And I'm sorry, but
coming off of back-to-back NFL MVP years. So it can't all be Davante Adams.
If you look at numbers, though, last year, no reason why Brady should not have won NFL MVP, especially over Rodgers.
Honestly, if I'm giving NFL MVP to anybody, it's Cooper Kupp.
Josh Allen. Or, Cooper Kupp.
I'm giving it to Cooper Kupp.
Joe Burrow.
Oh, fun fact about Davante Adams. He had more receiving yards
141
than all wide receivers for Green Bay.
120.
But let's be fair. Watson drops a touchdown there. There was a few drops. Those kids, like Rodgers said, they're going good. There's going to be growing pains. It's just a normal thing.
I think they do have really talented kids. I don't think they're Super Bowl contenders like everybody in the experts are picking.
It's also a new offense. Hackett's gone. It's a completely new offense. Their O coordinator is gone.
Yeah, but their head coach still retains a lot of that.
I'm just telling you, still a
It's
different
his
system with
playbook
different
at the end of the
terminology.
day.
Sure. I mean, the offensive coordinator does
Matt
have his-
LaFleur.
Yeah.
It's his playbook.
And I mean, if you got rookies in there, they don't know any different anyway.
Yeah.
All they know is that playbook.
Well, you
Right.
can't count Matt LaFleur out either because since he's become the Green Bay coach, don't they have like the best
His win percentage.
record.
Yeah, they do.
for that short amount of
I
time?
think what's
over
more
100
telling
games?
is the Vikings were able to stop both Jones and Dillon. That was more telling than Rodgers having struggles with the
that's
young
really
wideouts.
what I was going to say, and we're going to get into that. Is beginning of this year, there have been two teams since we've been doing the show that I have been like, I've just had this love affair with picking them, and they either let me down or they went all the way, and it was the Colts and the Vikings. And the Vikings this year, I think, might actually not let me down. I think the Vikings are, it didn't hurt that they're at home, because if you think that's the same exact game sitting in Lambeau Field, you're crazy, because that is one of those atmospheres that's hard to win in.
I don't know. With as open as Justin Jefferson was, it didn't matter where he was at.
That's
He could have been on a
Yeah,
train,
good
on a
point.
plane, in Lambeau, anywhere. And he'd be like, yo, I'm open. And nobody around him.
All right, so what is your doomsday pick for the rest of the year?
My doomsday pick?
Yeah, what is that? What's that pick that you think is totally overhyped for the season at week one?
It doesn't have to be a doomsday. It can be like something that was overhyped in a positive that became negative, or negative that's going to become positive.
Well, so I'll tell you one that I'm actually kind of starting to buy into is that the Rams are really just not built.
You think they just got lucky
They're
last year?
They caught lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
They had a hell of a team, but now they're starting to reap some of the issues with their salary cap because, and
they just paid AD.
right. And so, unfortunately for them, I just don't think that they're one of those teams that even makes the playoffs possibly this year.
Whoa. I don't think there's anybody in their division to stop them from making the playoffs, but you might be right. They may be a one and done team this year, because I know Stafford, he looked like he was injured. He didn't look 100%.
He played like Jared Goff.
He didn't play like Matt Stafford. That's
He's got
for
a
sure.
Tommy John injury. Let's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
he's got a Tommy John injury. He's trying to throw the ball. If you looked at Stafford, he didn't throw a ball over 10 yards accurately, if any.
You know
that
what Stafford
game.
looked like is Peyton Manning in his last year. He was just noodle arming it every single game and relying on the defense to do something.
I mean, you throw something with a bad tendon in your elbow. I mean, I got to give him credit for coming out there, but I think he's going to end up in
Sure,
doing
but if-
But
surgery.
that's detrimental to your team. You shouldn't be out there. You know
and
what
to
I mean?
yourself, you're going
They
to
don't
prolong
have
that
anybody
injury.
else.
Here's the
You
problem.
mean to tell me that they don't have a backup on that squad?
Wolford, but he's not Stafford.
Not that as good as a hurt Stafford.
Yeah,
But-
okay, run the ball.
Exactly.
They
Run the
couldn't.
ball.
That was
They
the
did.
problem.
Henderson
They didn't
was
even
their
try.
running back.
They didn't even try.
Cam Akers got benched.
Akers came in the third quarter.
No, Akers is just one of those guys that I'm starting to wonder about him too. That's part of the reason. So the Rams kept trading away picks.
Yeah.
Don't they have like no first round picks since like 1985 or something
So-
like
Well,
that?
they gave up picks they gave up first and second round picks
For Stafford, which they
Paid
got a
off.
championship.
They
It
paid
paid off. They instantly win that trade because they won a championship. They've got Mr. Lombardi sitting in the front office. It doesn't matter what you say. That's what you play the game for. If you get that out of your trade, you win.
But if you sell your soul in the future of your franchise for that one instead of the potential 2 or 3 you could, I mean, that's a big difference.
You also got to remember that most first and second round picks, I mean, what do they end up being sometimes? Complete busts?
For
Nothing.
sure. For sure.
And how
That's
many of
true.
them actually from day one will bring you to a Super Bowl in that? I mean, they did what they wanted to do. It worked for them.
And I don't disagree.
I'll give you my take because I was talking shit. Kansas City didn't skip a beat.
No.
Patrick Mahomes said, Tyreek who?
Wait a minute.
Well, see, that's the thing. Is
Yeah.
you were saying that and talking shit, and as I told you before, they played a lot of games where Tyreek Hill wasn't in the game. And how many games did they win where Tyreek Hill didn't really do anything? They have nothing but freaking playmakers on that team.
Mahomes is a beast.
So we said this during the show a couple weeks ago, that Tyreek being gone somehow made Patrick Mahomes more dangerous.
More accurate, too.
So what happens is now he's got Mecole Hardman, Marquez Valdez-Scantling,
Sky
Juju
Moore.
Smith-Schuster, Sky Moore,
And Travis Kelce.
and the best of all, Travis Kelce.
Hey, don't forget.
and their
Edwards
running backs.
Hilaire.
Edwards
their
Hilaire caught
running
the balls
backs.
out of the
Yeah.
backfield. You're right. You're absolutely
And-
right.
and-
Pacheco or whatever the hell his name
And
is.
for the way that Edwards Hilaire plays, Andy Reid is the most perfect coach of all time for him to get. He has like 80 or 90 screens in his playbook.
Yeah.
So for him to have that kind of offense, and now you lose Tyreek. I mean, not that Tyreek missed a beat because Miami looked spectacular against the Patriots too, but I think this made Mahomes somehow freaking better. They looked the best of any team on Sunday, Monday, or Thursday. Is there a contention there? I don't think there's another
On
team
both
that
sides
looked
of the
better
ball?
on
Yeah.
both sides of the ball
That's
than the
fair.
Kansas City Chiefs. And that kid that I was talking about last week, George Karlaftis, he had a fucking game.
Yeah.
That dude was living in the backfield.
the Chargers
making
looked good,
tackles
too.
for losses. He was hitting Kyler Murray. Damn, man, how did they somehow trade out and still move up? It's
Yeah.
crazy.
I would say Kansas City and the Chargers were the two best teams. And,
Yeah, but
and the
the
Eagles.
Raiders were hanging in with him. Kyler and the Cardinals that went 8-0 at the beginning of last year.
Yeah.
And they were in Arizona.
There's a lot of injuries on that Cardinal team, though. I don't
Say
think that's
what
the
you-
Cardinal team we see.
Say what you want. I don't think J.J. Watt being in the game would have made a difference for how quick Mahomes was getting rid of the ball and guys getting open right over the middle. This is the thing that I don't understand. How the is Kelce still so productive? The whole league knows about Kelce at this point.
Because he's a mismatch. He's too good at what he does.
I don't think he runs
Exactly.
his routes. I think he ad-libs his routes. When he sees coverage in the middle, he goes and does,
That's because
he does a
he's
stutter step to the outside.
Believe it or
But
not,
that's what the check down guy's supposed to
believe it or not, that is practiced.
do. Yeah.
That's something that Mahomes, like they say it all the time when they're breaking down plays. Brady's one of the biggest ones of all who will look at a coverage, hike, see it's in man coverage, and instantly hit the play he needs to hit. So good for Kelce for being that guy. Another one that does that is Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams says it doesn't matter what coverage you're in, what you're doing. When you line up in this, I'm doing this. Down to how many yards off of him you are. He has 4 different things that he's going to do. And if you don't think Derek Carr knows every single one of them, you're crazy.
Yeah.
So to me, I think I'm not crowning the Chiefs, but damn, they look good. This is a major test for them week 2.
How about just we'll go to
My
fantasy.
doomsday prediction, I figured it out, is that the Cowboys ain't them boys.
No, definitely not. They got embarrassed on that Sunday night game against the Bucs. They couldn't even put up points. They're the only team in week 1 to not score a touchdown. The only team.
That's kind of
And they've had
pathetic.
weapons for a while. So what is going on in
And
Dallas?
I want to say, I don't
I'll
understand.
give my take when we talk about the game.
I don't think Mike McCarthy is going to make it to next season.
Well, I guess we're ripping the Band-Aid off right now. I agree with him 120%.
because
Week 6, Mike
let
McCarthy
me go ahead and
is
tell
gone.
you, people are talking about that won't happen.
No.
Jerry Jones is
Jerry
way
will fire him in
way
December.
too proud to say that he's going to fire him midseason. But how do you have somebody like Ezekiel Elliott who's busting off 5 and 6 yards a rush and only run him 10, 13 times?
Yeah.
The fuck is wrong with you?
And then in the third
You got so
quarter,
much
he
money
played
tied up in
Pollard.
him.
He played Pollard more than he did Eazy-E.
And Pollard got eaten up. Pollard is so. Here's the beautiful thing about the NFL. Year 1, you can surprise whoever the fuck you want. Year 2, you ain't surprising no damn body. Every single team in the league that's worth their salt is going to figure you out. So you either need to be that good to do better, or you're going to get eaten alive. And Pollard, I don't think he got eaten alive, but he was not as good as Zeke was.
I mean, the number 1 run defense in the league is going to eat up anybody.
That's true.
So come on.
That is true,
Vita
but
Vea and Hakeem Nicks were just like in the backfield.
I was just trying to give the Cowboys the benefit of the doubt on this one.
No credit for those boys.
But the Buccaneers defense, there's another one of my doomsday's pick, is that the Buccaneers might have one of the best defenses in the league this year.
I'm sorry, I think they do.
Because
I absolutely think
and,
they do.
and that's what I was talking to somebody
Chargers are
about
gonna give you
yesterday.
noise.
Oh, for sure. The
That
Chargers
Chargers
are great.
defense looks
But let me say this.
stout.
Let me say this. If Todd Bowles can make a Jets defense look legitimate, and then he comes to Tampa where he has absolute studs at every level, Keem Nicks, Vita Vea. And outside of that, you got Joe Tryon-Shoyinka and Shaq Barrett. Okay, that's a great, great group. You look right behind them, Devin White and Levante David. At me, fight me, whatever you want. That's the best linebacking duo in the NFL. Devin White, 100%. Levante David. Then you look, Carlton Davis, Jamel Dean. They're serviceable. But then you go to the safeties, you got Mike Edwards and Antoine Winfield Jr. That defense is stout. If they stay healthy, it doesn't fucking matter who you are. That Bucs defense is going to smack you in the mouth. And that evidence of, and I said this in the college and I'll say it in the pro, I don't ever, ever, ever want to see somebody get hurt, but your quarterback's going to get hurt. And Dak Prescott got thrown like a child by Devin White.
But you got to be scared about
Multiple
that O-line.
times.
Your O-line looks suspect.
So
you got to admit.
It's 3 brand new faces on the line. Yeah.
So there's
that's
two different things. Two different things to say about that. One, you're right. You're right. You got to be worried about the offensive line. But 2 things changed in a Todd Bowles offense. Tom Brady didn't throw the ball 50 fucking times in a game.
True.
And we decided to lean on Leonard Fournette, who gave us 127 yards. So we are able to do something we've never been able to do, which is establish that run against a decent Cowboys defense. Can we say that?
Yeah.
They're not trash.
And Micah Parsons is arguably one of the best linebackers.
If not the
in
best.
game.
If not the best.
I think he's just the best defensive player overall, front 7 player overall for the Cowboys.
No, what's that other Van Der Esch or whatever?
Leighton Van Der Esch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
he's
pretty
decent.
solid too.
I mean, we're talking about top tier guys. You got to mention Aaron Donald. You got to mention TJ Watt. There's so many good defensive players.
Fred Warner.
Warner, Stoudemire for the what's his name? For the
Roquan
Saints.
Smith for the Bears.
For the Saints, the D lineman. He's fucking legitimate.
Yeah.
Jordan Howard?
No,
Jordan Howard's a running back.
the defensive lineman.
No, what's his name? I know who you're talking about.
Stoudemire?
No, the D lineman for the freaking Saints. I know who you guys are talking about.
As soon as I hear his name, I'll be
immediately
pissed because I know how
that's
good he
it.
is. But there are so many players out there. But like Todd Bowles is a defensive minded coach, and this team reminds me just a little bit. And this I'll call this a doomsday pick of that 0-2 Tampa Buccaneers. That defense being so fucking good, and the offense being able to do just enough to win the game.
Cameron Jordan.
Cameron fucking Jordan.
What
That
an
dude
idiot.
is elite. Cameron Jordan. I can't believe I always forget his name. Him, and then behind him, Demario Davis, and then Lattimore and the Honey Badger. They're legit. But I'm just
Although they looked a little suspect against the Falcons in the first quarter.
They did?
And the second quarter. The first half, I should say.
they had to win by a field goal.
So if we're going to talk about the Bucs game, let's talk about the Bucs game. Let's just
Let's do
go
it.
into it.
Let's do it.
Into it. What did you see from the Bucs? I get the Cowboys were lackluster. I agree with you. Mike McCarthy is the reason for that. I don't care what anybody says. You don't bench Ezekiel Elliott when he's getting 5 yards a carry. I get you're behind, but give the boy the ball.
You know that I'm a Cowboy sympathizer. I don't ever want to see them beat my Bucks. But other than that, I'm like, all right, I'll watch the Cowboys. Let's see what's going on. I was like, what the fuck are they doing? Zeke is their weapon right now.
They missing
And
Amari Cooper bad is what they're doing.
Uh-huh. And you're not going to see CeeDee Lamb be as productive without that running game going.
But you're not going to see Dak be productive either,
Yeah.
because they don't fear any of those wideouts.
No.
Because besides CeeDee Lamb, they got nobody. Yeah, they got Dalton Schultz catching the hot routes and the underneath stuff, and they'll give that to you all day. The Bucs gave Dalton Schultz whatever he wanted.
Yep.
They don't fear Dak. Nobody fears Dak. Dak's overrated and not worth the money that they paid.
Well, bro, what was it, last year or the year before, where he was putting up like stupid ass numbers and he was doing work. Dak is not a bad quarterback.
Dak's overrated.
But when you don't have anybody to throw the ball to that can get open, I mean, shit, bro. That game was pathetic. Like, I mean, for them, offense as a wide receiver, nobody was getting open at all.
But
There was
is that a
no
symptom
separation.
of the coaching and the play calling? Or is that a
100%.
symptom
It's
of
also
the
a symptom of the-
defense being much better than it was before, now in a Todd Bowles head coach year, or a combination of the two?
Or it's the talent too, because I mean, Amari Cooper, he can line up against any of those dudes, and he'll take one of them to school for sure. And then him doing that opens up CeeDee Lamb. It opens up, you know what I mean,
That's fair.
other
yeah.
guys. But they don't have Michael Gallup at 100%.
How do you give
At
a
all?
guy an extension who can't stay healthy? yet you trade Amari Cooper away for nothing. We got more for Jalen Reagor than the Cowboys got for freaking one of the best receivers in the NFL.
Yeah, but
Hey, man, you know what?
You guys have picked bad wide receivers for what, 4 years in a row?
I agree. I'm not. But I'm saying Amari.
Who's picked bad wide receivers?
The Eagles.
Eagles.
Devontae Smith is a person. You know that. He exists.
He got 0 targets last game.
Whose fault is that?
Well, he was targeting AJ Brown.
What-
Zero targets.
So Reagor, what's the other wide receiver that they got?
JJ
Aguilar.
Arcega,
You're not
Whiteside,
wrong.
but they're
You're not
both
wrong.
gone. They're both gone.
And Aguilar. But
Aguilar won us a freaking Super Bowl.
And he had a good game for the Patriots.
yeah, for the Patriots.
So let me ask you this about the Patriots and Miami game. Was Miami
called
just
that-
that good, or are the
Yes.
Patriots really now back to irrelevant?
No, people sleep on Miami's defense, and if you look at that defense on paper, that defense is absolutely stout.
You have
And,
Matt.
so let's think about the trades that Miami has made. The Laramie Tunzel trade. They have done so much, and all those draft picks and all that capital they saved this year is where you're starting to see it pay off. Because like you look at that offense, they've got fucking Tyreek, they've got Jalen Waddle, they got Mike Gesicki, they got Chase Emons back there to catch the ball from Tua.
Mostert.
But you look at the defense, that's where that team actually shines.
Yeah, but Joe Judge and Matt Patricia are calling the plays for a Patriots offense. Those are defensive guys calling offensive plays, right?
But that doesn't matter. That doesn't change the talent on the field.
I'm telling you, the Patriots are going to be really bad this year. I don't care
and
who they got.
Here's the thing. You want to talk about suspect O-lines? Patriots could not protect Mac Jones.
No, they couldn't.
And it's surprising that they let what's our new offensive guard that's starting for us?
Shaq Mason.
Shaq Mason.
They weren't
going
to pay him though. That was a money issue.
But they
That
have
wasn't
money.
the only issue. The
They
issue
just don't
was
like
he
to
wanted
pay
to go
people.
play with his buddy Tommy. He wanted to go play with Tom Brady.
Yo,
So-
4th and 7 against the Patriots, and Jalen Waddle just splits the defense and goes for a touchdown. What nuts by this Dolphins coach? Like that guy, even Tyreek said it. He's got nuts as big as what, wheelbarrows or whatever the hell you said last episode.
Yeah.
That's just faith in an offense. You know what I mean? Like, that's why in fantasy football I tried to get my hands on Jalen Waddle in every league I could, because that dude can take a short, route and turn it into a touchdown.
Did you see Reek rip that interception away one-handed?
Yes, bro, that was
That
sick.
was sick.
And then took off.
That was ridiculous. But yeah, Waddle, I think, and people might crucify me for this, I think Waddle has more weapons physically than Tyreek. Tyreek has the speed,
and that's
he
about
has
it.
the route running, but after that,
But see, and that's it.
Waddle's a better
doesn't
all-around
really
wide
run
receiver.
I think so too.
too much over the middle. He pretty much streaks, and if he beats you, that's it. It's good night.
The problem is that Tyreek will take the top off of any defense, any
And
team.
that helps Waddle.
And
anywhere.
that's exactly the other reason I wanted to get him, is because you got another guy who's just as fast, or almost just as fast, running underneath. Come on, bro. You got to pick your poison at that
But he
point.
didn't do that against the Patriots. Reek didn't blow the top off anybody. He was
didn't have
catching
to.
contested balls versus
Yeah.
corners that were bigger than him.
Yeah.
My issue with Miami is Tua. That's a question mark.
100%
This
agree.
is his. You prove it, or you're gone after this year.
Oh, he won't be gone for this year, but this is definitely a prove it year. Prove it for sure.
He's got weapons. He's got a defense. He's got everything.
He's got an O-line. He's
So-
got
Yeah.
everything this
You
year.
need-
and
to
if
produce.
that game is a any sort of indication of the prove it year, looks like Tua's going to be in Miami.
Yeah. Well, kind of pretty much. They said he's going to be anyway.
He had one bad play where he missed an open receiver, but a lot of people
was
just said,
Tyreek,
"Oh, he missed Tyreek," but it was like he didn't have the strength of that. But that was a busted play that people don't know was, I think, deflected by the New England Patriots. Other than that, he hit everybody.
I'm just surprised that New England didn't put up more of a fight, given that their defense last year was pretty solid.
Yeah. So let's go down the picks of last year, shall we? Or
Last
Last week. Sorry.
Bills Rams opener. What a disappointing game. I took the Rams.
we
at
have
home.
we finally have a stiff arm to look at that's not Derrick Henry.
Yeah,
That poor
Josh
bastard.
Allen.
Pretty
Poor
solid.
bastard from the Rams who had an elite game. He had a fucking great game. That guy that got stiff armed, he got embarrassed, but he also had 2 takeaways for the Rams. But I'm sorry, buddy. You're on national TV getting stiff armed to
No one
death by
remembers
Josh
those
Allen.
takeaways.
I think the Rams miss Von Miller more than any other player that they lost on that team.
No question. Did you see the
There was
monster
no
game
pressure.
Von Miller had?
Yeah, 2 sacks right off the bat was good.
How about that haircut?
Yeah.
But he's had that haircut for like 2 or 3 seasons now.
Somebody took a picture of that and was like Playboy in the 90s.
Yeah, and they flipped it upside down. It was like Playboy in the 70s.
So good. All right, so the next one,
Ravens Jets. That wasn't a game from the beginning.
Lamar came to life and became Lamar, and the front office is like, yeah, maybe that guaranteed money he won is worth it.
He's
Hey,
going to
you
ball
could've
out this year because they didn't pay him.
So let's say, obviously they're going to franchise Lamar, but if Lamar goes into free agency and can somehow wiggle himself free, and Tua has a bad year, could you see Miami shelling out the money for Lamar and then creating like an amazing team?
The only way on God's earth that Lamar plays for the Dolphins is if he wants to. If he is looking at the Dolphins and going, I don't want to play for the Ravens. I appreciate everything, but I'm going there. First of all, I don't think the Dolphins have enough cap space to pay him what he's denied from the Ravens already. He got offered, and this is obviously a source, but Schefter, who knows what he's worth anymore. They offered him $250 million with $130 guaranteed.
No, but I saw 238. 238 is what they offered.
Well, what he said is he wanted more guaranteed money. He liked the dollar amount. He liked what they offered him, but he wanted more guaranteed money, and that's what they couldn't agree on.
He wants Deshaun Watson guaranteed. He wants at least $200 million guaranteed. And I tell you what, if Watson...
I think
you look at me right now and you say, do you want Lamar or do you want Deshaun? I'll take Lamar.
Yeah, no
Every
question.
time.
Minus all the bullshit off the field, I'll take Deshaun.
But never heard about any issues with Lamar Jackson.
I'll take
off the
Lamar.
field.
I'll take Lamar.
Not one.
The
But
Heisman
Deshaun's a better
Trophy
quarterback.
winner, give me Lamar.
But, I mean, that's a lot of money to give somebody guaranteed where you're still not really throwing touchdowns like that. I mean, you're winning football games. I'll
Right.
give it to you, and that's what you're
I
doing.
mean,
And I don't
he
think the
threw a-
Jets are the good barometer. By the way, does anybody know if Sauce Gardner got burned at all that week?
I don't know.
I'm
Because
not
Mr.
sure.
Sauce, Mr. I haven't allowed a touchdown. He played the Ravens and he threw 3 touchdowns. Was Sauce one of those guys that got burned?
I don't know.
Probably.
Duvernay was so open that it didn't matter. He threw
Yeah.
a 60-yard bomb to Duvernay right on the money. It was beautiful.
So here's another one. We got
The
Panthers,
Browns, Panthers, and Baker Mayfield said he was going to beat the bleep out of the Browns. That didn't happen.
No, it didn't.
Baker Mayfield don't do nothing but run his mouth.
Here's the thing, though. Baker put them in the position to win.
Yes, that's
and
true.
Carolina dropped the ball.
It wasn't Baker's fault that they lost,
Nope.
but the Browns just came through.
Yeah. Here's one that we all lost.
I know. Even though I really wanted the Texans, I was on the Texans. I just couldn't pull the trigger.
You
Same.
did say it. You did say it, and you said that the
Same.
Texans are going to win. And I thought you were crazy because, like I said, I've got this love affair with picking the Colts, and the Colts did not have their stud middle linebacker, and that made much more of an impact than I thought it would. Good on the Houston Texans, but a tie, but it's like kissing your sister.
yeah, but the Colts cut Blankenship today, so they're looking for a new kicker. And he's one of the best kickers out
I
there.
don't get why that. I was like, wait, they what? They cut him? Isn't he been Mr. Reliable for
Yeah,
them?
they cut him after last week. Although
Stupid
Texas should have
move.
won this game. I think Lovey started throwing the ball when they should have ran the ball. Same thing
Yeah.
that the Falcons did
Okay.
in the Super Bowl. Jags Commanders. The Jags should have won this game 100%. If
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
If
He's
the
only saying
receivers
that.
would catch the ball in
He's
the
only
freaking
saying
end
that
zone.
because he picked the Jags. The Commanders did what we all thought the Commanders would do, and their defense took that game over and won it, sealing it with an interception. Moving on.
Patriots.
You want to talk
Dolphins.
about a crazy front seven, though? Washington is definitely one of those teams.
When Chase Young comes back,
Yeah.
100%.
Even without him, their
Yeah.
front seven is gross.
Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, Montez. Yeah, they got a lot of good guys.
Their receivers this year are catching balls, and Carson Wentz had one of the best fantasy weeks out
did.
there
Crazy.
at over 30 points. Jahan Dotson, again, we are Penn State, shows up, 2 touchdowns.
He sure did.
Go get him, kid.
Great game.
I almost picked that guy up before fantasy too.
We
but-
talked Dolphins, Patriots. Let's move on to Falcons.
Saints, Falcons. This is a tale of two halves, boys. The Falcons and Marcus Mariota came a stomping on the Saints, and Jameis looked like the Jameis of old in the first half.
No. Stop right there. Michael Thomas looked like the Michael Thomas of old. Mister, you can throw it in any general vicinity and he'll motherfucking catch it. Michael Thomas came alive in the second half of that game. I think Jameis finally said, oh, I've got somebody like Mike Evans on this team. I'll just throw it at number 13.
Olave caught a touchdown, too.
Olave did, and he's a freaking weapon. But good for the Saints. Philly, Detroit.
Good for James for finally beating Mariota too.
I was good. So when that happened and
super
the
close.
Falcons were up, I was like, God damn it, Ryan was right.
Good old Will Lutz with the fucking
Yeah.
solid kick of
With
50,
a freaking
50 plus.
leg, man. Philly and the Detroit Lions.
Eagles stopped playing in the third quarter. I don't care what anybody says.
You don't have
Eagles
to.
stop playing.
You guys beat Detroit by a mere 3 points.
Because we stopped
Everybody
playing.
knows how long a game of football is.
They
So,
stopped playing. I agree.
Everybody knows.
Whose fault is that?
Yo, I just want to say real quick, again, Ryan, thank you very much for A.J. Brown. 10
Yeah,
catches,
you're welcome.
150 plus yards. I want to thank you very much. By the way,
Yep.
Jalen, I know you're listening. Give Devontae Smith the goddamn ball every once in a while, please.
Seriously, spread it around, buddy. 49ers Bears. This one shocked me to my core. I thought the 49ers were going to definitely handle business, and then I saw
The
4
monsoon.
inches of water in the stadium. I think that was a major factor, but good for the Bears, good for Justin Fields.
Justin Fields came out and balled.
That I gotta say, that environment of you having to adjust on the fly and do what you can, that suits Justin Fields so well.
If Trey Lance keeps struggling, is there a chance to see Jimmy G take over again?
No,
Absolutely.
I think
I
there's
think
a better
so.
chance you see Jimmy G get traded to the Cowboys before the end of the year.
Oh, that's actually not bad. But that Jerry would be. He would have to get something.
He would have to give up at least a second rounder, right?
He-
He'll give it up. He'll give it up because
But Dak's coming back.
Garoppolo, he is coming back.
But Garoppolo has to agree to that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And if I'm Garoppolo, I'm not.
And there's too many 4 jerseys in Jerry World for that to happen.
Exactly.
But all right, so 49ers lost.
here?
Here's the one. Me and Nello picked it. Steelers taking on the Cincinnati Bengals.
Joe
The
Burrow
Steelers
just had a cocky attitude to him. He was throwing the ball like in bad coverages, and the Steeler defense just came.
disrespected that Steeler defense that knows him intimately.
But did he disrespect him though? Because I mean, he threw 4 picks and then still showed up and almost beat him.
My favorite was the fact that the Bengals posted on their official Facebook page and Twitter, what are they even stealing? And then the Steelers copied that, posted it, and posted pictures of all 4 of their picks. That's what we're stealing, the motherfucking ball.
To be clear, the Bengals started moving the ball when Najee was out and T.J. Watt was out.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, what does Najee have to do with anything? He plays offense, buddy.
But they couldn't move the ball.
And Najee is their best weapon.
Chiefs
Deontay
Cardinals-
Johnson's great, but he's their best weapon. All right, so hey, let's take a quick break before we finish these up, and then we'll get into next week. All right, we'll see you guys in just a minute. And we're back with the number 1 Dallas Cowboys fan.
I am not a
Mr.
goddamn Cowboys fan.
Angelo. While we were on break, he was just spouting off stats from those 90s Cowboys.
No, I was not.
He even showed
That's
me
your
that,
team.
He even showed me that inner thigh tattoo of Troy Aikman that he has.
I just find it weird that he doesn't have pictures of like family members in his wallet, just pictures of the Cowboys
That's
when
right.
they won their Super Bowl.
I love
It's one
Evan
of those-
Smith. He's my favorite. Fuck out of here.
All right, let's move on down the
Chiefs,
line.
Cardinals, we already talked about this.
Yep.
I was the only idiot took the Cards. I don't know why I did that, but I did.
None of us took the Giants.
How about this? I'm so excited to talk to this man right here. Giants, Titans.
I almost did.
Tell me
Remember
what
when
happened.
I sat there and thought about it? I legitimately wanted to go with the Giants.
you did.
And
What
that's-
happened?
Yeah. I don't know
We
what
traded
happened.
away one of our best offensive weapons.
Thank
is
you
what
again.
Happened. For a kid that didn't show the fuck up at all.
Okay.
And then our defense, it's suspect
So
as hell.
he's a rookie. I'm not pulling him into this and blaming that loss on him at all. He's a rookie. He's got the big body. He's got the tools, but that's on Mike Vrabel.
100%. Derrick Henry should never
Yeah,
have
and
under
13
20 carries a game.
Is kind of ridiculous, especially when you see Jonathan Taylor in the ball 31 times for 161.
I think they're trying to protect him.
And
They're
that's
being
what I'm
overly
thinking.
protective.
They had the lead, man. All they needed to do was a touchdown. You don't run a tight end around on a 3rd and 5.
yeah, it's some dumb plays there too.
I
mean,
gotta say though, I think the Giants are a better team than people are giving them credit for.
That's
That's
was
another
my
thing.
next point. Is that so much the Titans' fault, or has Brian Daboll, who was a very highly touted coordinator at Alabama, and then a highly touted coordinator in Buffalo, who didn't make Josh Allen. Josh Allen made Josh Allen.
I mean-
but for him to make that team look so good on offense and really accentuate their weapons, and then go to New York and a healthy Saquon. I mean, is it really so much on the Titans?
A healthy Hugh, where did he go to school?
He went to, I think it was the Penn State.
The Penn State. And thank God that Saquon is finally
But
healthy
see-
and he showed up.
And then let me see that argument. You have the finally healthy Saquon Barkley, but you've also got a 2-time rushing lead on the other side who carried the ball for 13 times. Like, that's just dumb. To me, I think the Titans shot themselves in the foot.
And Tannehill was underthrowing some receivers.
Let that 2-2 train leave the station, man.
Yeah, let it go.
Is it Malik time yet in Tennessee?
No.
Man, if you don't
No.
shut your ass up, I'm thinking he's a closet Malik fan too.
Yeah,
I am a closet Malik. I've been on Malik's jockstrap
there's
from
no
last year.
closet about the Malik fandom
You
here.
can't wait for him to go down and replace Dak.
And I don't think Malik makes a difference in that
No,
particular
not at
situation
all.
because if you're running an end around to a tight end.
Yeah.
It's Vrabel. It's squarely on Vrabel's shoulders. He tried to get cute against a Giants defense that had been banging him all day. And that one massive hit on Henry, which I don't know why people are putting too much clout into that because both feet were off the ground. But, I mean, the Giants were there to play. They were there to win.
And you know what? Danny Dimes had some protection in that big old house on that left side in Evan Neal.
Yes, he did.
And that opened up the run game. Saquon willed them to win the game.
Yeah. And
Danny Dimes on that bootleg to get that 4th and 1 or 4th and 2.
So he's not the Danny
sad part
Pennies
is
that
on that
DJ
side is,
claims he is.
I mean, well, that's the judgment is still out on Danny Pennies, but let's just see what happens.
Green Bay, Minnesota, we talked about this. Minnesota controlled every
Bro,
ounce of that game.
Justin Jefferson.
Crazy.
Blow up 196 and 2 touchdowns. He's getting 2,000 yards this
Yep.
year.
And this
It was
one,
182, I think it was, in 2 touchdowns.
That was in 190, but that's fine. Whatever.
Still with
This is,
17 games, yeah.
difference.
I think this was probably the game of the week. Chargers Raiders. That was a really, really good game. We all picked the Chargers except for one, Mr. Ryan, who picked the Raiders. And I'm not going to fault you for that
Nope.
because they had every opportunity to win that game.
Yeah,
Gotta
they did.
blame
And they
Josh
could not-
McDaniels again for getting too freaking cute when you have an offense that just line them up and let them run.
And this is one of those things that it doesn't matter. Josh McDaniels loves to have plays that take time to develop. You're going against Khalil Mack and
Yeah.
Joey Bosa.
God, they were eating.
You don't have time. And Khalil Mack on 3rd and 4th down, when he knows you're not going to run it and can pin those ears back and come at you, what did you think was going to happen?
I think that defense is better than the Bucs, and that's the only defense I think is better than the Bucs.
I think they're good. They're damn sure good, especially on the edge. I don't think they have the meat in the middle like we do.
That's true.
I think we have better defensive tackles. I think in terms of our ends,
a
Joey
tie.
Bosa and Russ and Khalil Mack, Shaq Barrett's good. Joe Tryon, I'm not putting him in that upper echelon yet.
Well,
so
he's
I'll
still
give
not even
that
a
one
third-year player, too.
And I'll give that one
J.C. Jackson is a better
advantage.
corner.
Advantage Chargers. Linebacking core, I'm sorry. The Buccaneers have the better linebacker.
Agreed.
No question.
And average for safeties for Mike Edwards and Logan Ryan and Antoine Winfield.
Derwin James.
As a one player, yes. As a core, no. In terms of your cornerbacks, as one for J.C. Jackson, sure, but Carlton Davis ain't far behind, and Jamel Dean ain't nothing to play with. No, I'm sticking with my Bucks.
Bucs Cowgirls, we already talked about it. Is there anything that anybody wants to add that was like so evident besides, like you said, yes, we were talking after the other podcast yesterday about Tom Brady really misses Gronk in the red zone.
He does.
And you saw it, and when I looked at the highlights today, I was like, damn, Jack's fucking right. He does miss his
So when
tight
it
end.
came to the red zone, he's used to having that big, tall monster.
Hold on. See, this is where I find the problem with that because Mike Evans ain't a little boy.
Nope. You're right.
Like,
And he
you got
did catch a
Mike
touchdown.
Evans, and he threw a mean one to him in the corner.
Yeah.
And that catch was disgusting.
It absolutely
One-handed.
was filthy.
Here's the difference. It's a tougher throw to throw it outside like that. To get to the outside, to get to the pylon and have a decent throw is not as easy as a 6'8" target with his hand up over a linebacker. So when you're throwing to 87, who's a matchup nightmare for any safety, any linebacker in the league, as opposed to now, which is a ridiculous thing that I'm saying right now, Julio Jones and Mike Evans. Like, it's weird because Tom Brady's not used to that.
And your
his
boy.
whole career, he's had that statue there in the middle. So now that he doesn't have that gimme, like I can throw it up high to Gronk, and if he misses it, nobody's getting it, then he's got to learn to trust Mike Evans and Julio Jones.
But that's what I'm saying. You should already have that with Mike Evans, and he's 6'5". He ain't little either.
Don't disagree. Evans is a beast. I think he's the most consistent wide receiver in the league. I've said it every year.
But I'll tell you, the Bucs have had a red zone problem for years.
Yeah.
So when you talk about Bucs not being able to deliver in the red zone, I don't think that was a Brady issue. I think that's just by nature of what we have. We have a bunch of possession receivers, big body guys that you would think normally down inside of the red zone would be more beneficial, but I think that's not always the case. You need guys that are tight ends, and I'll tell you who really impressed me was that tight end, that rookie that we have.
Oh my God, what's his name? Luke. It's not Gadecki.
Not
Skywalker.
Gadecki. Gadecki's the
No, Gadecki's the guard.
Yeah.
I'll tell you who impressed me is Julio freaking Jones. Your son was outrunning Diggs.
Yeah.
Made him look silly.
Yeah.
And he missed that deep ball by an inch.
K. Dotton.
By an inch. Man, Julio is going to be a weapon for the Bucs this
No,
year.
he ain't. He done spent everything. He done spent 3 receptions, 69 yards. Pretty much what he did for the Titans.
They
last
stopped
season.
throwing the ball to him because they didn't have to because
Exactly.
Lenny
Stop.
was carrying the rock.
127 yards.
Yep. I will walk down there and I will fight Julio Jones if he does any better. You catch a touchdown, bro. Me and you are squaring up.
Are you still
I'm
sour
bitter,
about
your
that,
team?
bro?
I
Listen.
am bitter.
He went to Tennessee because he thought they were going to be a contender.
Yeah.
They had a great running back. Tannehill was playing lights out the year
Here's the
before.
thing. We made it to the playoffs. We would have been a contender if he would have showed the fuck up.
All season.
He was injured, though. Let's be real.
Here's the thing that even he has said is the last year of the Falcons and that year on the Titans, he started getting selfish and saying, I'm going to actually wait until I'm healed. Because last year of the Falcons, he's like, I've done so freaking much for you guys. You guys need to help get us there. It can't just be the Julio show. And then in the Titans, he's like, I don't know the Titans shit. I'm here for 1 year on a nothing
get paid.
contract.
But you came here for the reason to win a championship.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
in the playoffs where you should have played big and you didn't, that just to me, like,
I think it's a Vrabel problem in Tennessee, though.
I lost
I
a
think it's
lot
Vrabel.
of.
I think you're right.
I think Vrabel is a little bit too. His head is too much like he's like a Belichick type guy, and he's not there at all.
What do you mean? It's too much
See,
like a Belichick
I
guy.
think he's-
Because like the Titans have gone from obscurity to NFC championships in literally 2 years, right? So he's thinking in his head, "Oh, I'm a defensive genius. Without me, the Titans are nothing," which is true. Because you guys had Mike Mularkey beforehand and all that
And
other trash.
playoffs.
No, Mike Mularkey did not take you to the playoffs. You went to the playoffs when Vrabel got there. Let's be real.
No, we also went when Weisenhunt was there too, I believe.
I don't think so. But I could be wrong. But I just think Vrabel thinks he's the next second coming of Belichick, and he's not.
It was nice to see Julio Jones finally producing. The problem
Yeah.
with Julio Jones the last 2 seasons has been that he's not consistent. He gets injured, and then he just falls off.
And him and Brady aren't on the same page yet. You see them talking every time that they were cutting the commercial on the sidelines. Brady had the tablet. Julio was right there. This is what we can do. This is what we can't do. That's a dangerous weapon.
I think if Julio can stay healthy and
so-
he plays the way he did, he played good.
So he's in a
against
better
Dallas.
situation, I think, right now. No disrespect to A.J. Brown and the boys in the Titans, but when you had Chris Godwin and Russell Gage and, all the weapons that
didn't
the
see
Bucs
Gage
have
that
right
much.
now, for him to be able to say, okay, I can walk off the field and we'll still produce. And you've got Tom Brady, which we're not going to compare Tannehill to Tom Brady, are we?
No.
No,
We
definitely
can't.
not.
So you have a different Julio Jones. So I think that's definitely
Well,
been
and
a big
then
deal.
he knows that this Bucs team, which is just 1 year removed or 2 years now removed from Super Bowl
They
championship.
were one play away from going to the Super Bowl again.
They were.
Right.
If Stafford doesn't hit cup down deep for 60 yards, they win the game.
Nobody knows how that Super Bowl goes either.
If Brady would have been allowed to call the offense in the first half against the Rams, like he was in the second half when we actually started putting points on the board,
Yeah.
that would have been a very different outcome.
Monday Night Football back.
Yeah.
The big. What is that? 12th man. I don't want to talk about this
I
game. Can we
picked
just keep
the
going?
Broncos. We all picked the Broncos because they're the Broncos
And I wanted to go see Hawks.
and
I should've.
Russell Wilson, and the Seahawks pulled out the 12th
Fuck the
man
Seahawks.
and ate them alive.
Oh, stop. They scored 0 points and couldn't move the ball in the second half. That's all on the Broncos and coaching. You don't pay a guy $242 million on a 4th and 5 with a minute and change left and not let him try to get that first down.
How much money did you lose for that?
I don't want to talk about it.
That's what I'm fucking saying.
Fucking suicide pool.
So
Denver Broncos, 90% of the money in Vegas is all on the Broncos, and you're telling me they can't win against Geno Smith and the freaking
Bro,
Seahawks?
Geno Smith is no slouch.
What are you talking about?
How long's he been in the league?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
He was
a starter for the Jets.
He's a veteran.
He's been around. The guy can play football. He can throw a football.
Hey, they wrote me off.
And then you give
They
him
wrote
DK
me off, but I didn't
Metcalf?
write back.
Which is one of the greatest post-game interviews.
They wrote
I've
me
heard him
off,
give,
but I didn't
period.
write back.
The Seattle Seahawks didn't win because of Geno Smith. They won because that red zone defense was stout.
Okay.
Are you
2
sure?
fumbles on the third
They
yard
didn't win
line.
because of Geno
That, I
Smith?
think, had more to do with poor play calling on the Denver side.
Yeah,
Oh
for
yeah,
sure.
Matt
Poor
Hackett had
play calling.
bad play
and then the
calling.
clock management. What is this your first time coaching football?
Yeah.
What the fuck happened?
3 timeouts
Like,
with a minute change left. You don't call a timeout to talk about it is ridiculous. Putting a 60-yarder, maybe 64-yard field goal to win the game. That's ridiculous.
Who's that
I think
coach?
my wife would have called a timeout.
Hackett.
How did he not?
I'm not going to lie. If I'm the owner, I might have fired him.
His first game is already talking about. I agree.
Bro,
I agree.
If you can't manage a clock with Russell Wilson, a Super Bowl champion
And 3
quarterback
timeouts.
with 3 timeouts.
Or 2. 3 or 2. I don't
hey,
remember.
And Denver's got a hell
make
of
it
a
happen.
team.
You've got a minute. Let's see what he can do. And
But
you're
again,
like,
Denver had a lot of stupid penalties too.
we're going to waste 50 seconds.
but it's week 1.
And then
It's
kick
gonna
a
happen.
field goal. Nah.
64-yard field goal is ridiculous. I don't. Give a
Hey,
shit who
I'm
you are.
sorry. You can.
It would have been.
Backs, you can
It
leave.
would have been tied for the second longest field goal in NFL history. And even Terrell Owens and the Manning boys are like, did they just wait 30 seconds to call a timeout?
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
I don't know. All right, so let's move into next week, shall we? Let's get into our picks so we can close this motherfucker out and I can stay in front.
Oh, and Malarkey did take us in the playoffs
down.
before.
It's only a game or something. Get out of here.
And Malarkey did take us in the
And
playoffs before.
you made sure that it wasn't going to only be a game this week.
Yep.
Because
My
I
Cards
think
pick was
you are
bad.
Mr. Contrarian right now.
I did.
Let's get to this week's picks, shall we?
Shall we?
We shall.
We are split straight down the middle on Chiefs Chargers.
I think this is game of the week.
game of the week easily.
Yeah, no question.
I think the Chargers win, even though Allen's out. I like that defense.
I think Keenan Allen being gone is a big deal, and I think Karl Loftus is going to make a bigger impact than most. Me and Ryan got the Chiefs. You and Camilo got the Chargers.
Browns, Jets. This isn't even. We're not even discussing.
We're all
this.
on the Browns.
Lions, Commanders.
We're split here again.
I know, man. I like the Lions. The Lions showed me some heart last week.
The Lions have been showing heart every week for the last
knee biters,
3
man.
years. They have. And they haven't shown me anything
And fuck Carson Wentz.
that
by the way.
tells me they're going to go over the top. They've got DeAndre Swift. I think the defensive line for the Commanders handles him.
St. Brown.
And then St. Brown. But is St. Brown enough with Jared Goff at the helm to beat the Commanders?
Well, I think we're going to get Hawkinson too.
Especially with week 2 Carson Wentz, which week 1 was good. I'm not saying Carson Wentz is elite by any stretch, but if he can play like he did last week, I think he can do enough to keep them out in front. So we got split, me and Camilo on the Commanders.
Detroit has better corners than Jacksonville.
For sure.
So watch out.
For sure. But I think it's more of their defense than the other one's offense.
Bucs
That front
Saints.
7 for the Commanders.
Bucs
is just-
Saints, we are split down the middle again.
Camilo agrees with me.
You
Saints
guys
are
think
going
the
to win.
Saints, dude? It's an easy pick to make. The Saints have the Buccaneers number,
And they always
Especially
beat
at
him.
home. for them.
especially in New Orleans. That is our fucking. It's almost a good luck charm for us to lose to the Saints at
It
home
is, because we usually go to the playoffs.
Once that happens, we go to the playoffs and we do well. I think our defense is going to be the big difference maker. I think you have Antoine Winfield and Carlton Davis shadowing Michael Thomas all game long, but that doesn't matter because Kamara's the difference maker. I think our defense can get us over the hump. I think it's a 1-score game, but
Like
I got the Bucs.
14-17 type game.
I got the
Jameis and
Bucs.
the Saints have had this game circled since he got hurt last season.
Yeah,
And this is going to be a big one for them to try to prove themselves.
for sure.
Especially coming after a win against a division rival in the Falcons like they did. They're going to come in swinging that meat around as much as they can.
Swinging
For
that
sure.
meat, that's
And
funny.
yeah, hey, that's how it's going to be.
All right, so Carolina and the Giants, only one on
In
the
Baker, we trust, baby.
Only one on the Panthers is Mr. Nello. We all kind of said this with the high from going out of Tennessee with a win and Saquon playing like he's been playing, and they're at home. Give me
You're
the
going to see
Giants.
Danny
And I
Payne
just
again.
don't trust that Baker Mayfield as far as I can fucking throw him.
Wow.
I think he's a better quarterback than anybody's giving him credit for.
Here's an interesting one
Hard no.
that might develop as we go on. If Mac Jones's in there, you give more love to the Pats, but Pats Steelers, we're all on the Steelers.
I don't care if TJ Watt plays or not, which he probably won't because
No, he tore his pec, right?
In Pittsburgh.
But in Pittsburgh. Najee's
I
coming
didn't
back.
say TJ. I said Mac Jones.
I said TJ.
But anyway, Colts, Jags. Only one on the Jags is Mr. Nello. That's at
Trevor
home.
Lawrence is going to get his win.
Here you go. Hey, maybe he does. This isn't a gimme, but I think the Colts are going to beat him.
Although, don't throw the ball to Etienne in a flat so he can get demolished like he did last week.
You know what you do? You throw it to Michael Pittman Jr., who had a game and a half.
We'll see what happens.
This is one we're split down the middle, and actually this might be a contender for game of the week. Miami Dolphins going into Baltimore against the Ravens. Ryan and I have the Dolphins. Camillo and Nello have the Ravens.
I think it's a different. If it's not in Baltimore and it's in Miami, I'll take Miami. But being in Baltimore, it's a tough place to play. Lamar looked good. That defense looked good, even though they lost Kyle Fuller to an ACL injury again. Give me the Ravens.
Yeah, you could go one way or the other on this game.
I don't care. Miami just better throw the ball to Mark Andrews. God damn it!
If Miami can bottle up Lamar Jackson, then you got a game. Atlanta Falcons versus the L.A. Rams again. Only one outlier in Mr. Nello picking the Falcons going into Los Angeles to beat Aaron Donald and the Rams.
Yep, bro. Marcus Mariota, Drake London, and Cordell Patterson and Kyle Pitts are going to eat. I'm telling you.
You're right.
Super Bowl
Jalen
hangover.
Ramsey, Aaron Donald, and who's the linebacker? Oh, Bobby Wagner. Those guys are all going to take the night off.
And you're underestimating how amped all 8 of the Rams fans are going to be.
All right. Seattle coming into Candlestick Park to play the 49ers. All of us are on the 49ers except for Mr. Camillo. He's got the Seahawks keeping that momentum going. Cincinnati versus Dallas. We're all on Cincinnati, especially with Cooper Rush. Texans versus the Broncos. Nello would not be scoring 2 weeks in a row, baby. He's on the Houston Texans. Everyone else thinks the Denver Broncos might win at Mile High Stadium.
Feed Pierce the ball.
Yeah, we've got Arizona Cardinals coming into Las Vegas. Everybody's on the Raiders, who were super hot against a great team like the Chargers, except for Mr. Camillo. He picked the Cardinals to win on the road in Las Vegas. Then we've got the Chicago Bears coming into Green Bay and an Aaron Rodgers that just got told he's going to be a piece of shit for a whole year. Ryan and I are on the Green Bay Packers. Camillo and Nello have the Chicago Bears.
This is the year
starting
the Bears
out
win.
2-0. Justin Fields. I mean, I can't say anything right now with the way both of these teams look. It's on a gut, and I thought the Packers are going to take it. Then we got the Tennessee Titans coming into the Buffalo Bills. I was so hyped on the Derrick Henry, the 2-2 train. I think Vrabel goes, okay, I get it. Give Henry the ball, okay, guys? And I think he has a monster game. I think he could go over 100 yards on the ground. But the Bills, Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, that whole screw, they got the Dawson Knox. Buffalo Bills are going to take that. We're all on the Bills. And here is...
If Tennessee loses, are we talking about the Malik train?
No.
Why do you keep bringing up the Malik train? Because
It needs to happen.
the Bills beat the Titans, who just lost their best linebacker on defense. You're saying they were eating to that side.
Yep.
That's where Harold Landry would have been. So now you got a new guy sitting there. We don't really have corners. Who's going to stop Stephon Diggs, bro?
We don't have corners.
He's
we
not
got
wrong.
them. They're there, but
They're just warm bodies. Hey, you got a
Basically,
pulse in a jersey?
No. They're not warm bodies. They are NFL players, but there are
safety
levels.
play. Yeah, safety play and Byard is what actually makes our corners look a little better than they actually are.
And here's the game that we're going to end the night on here. This is the one that we all have to talk about. We've got the Minnesota Vikings going into, where is it you guys play again?
Lincoln Financial fucking Field, baby.
I was going to say AT&T Stadium. Sorry.
That's the place where the
Eagles, not the Cowboys. My bad.
they had that really like 80, don't they have like
Honest
that 80-yard
Honest mistake.
jumbotron?
Yeah.
The big
Speaking of
star
which,
in the
that
middle?
punter hit it
That's
twice.
crazy.
No, he didn't hit it twice.
Oh, just
it was
once?
a penalty the second time. But we've got Minnesota coming into Philly. And guys, out there, trivia question. 3 out of 4 of us picked Minnesota. 1 of us picked the Philadelphia Eagles. Can you guess who that is?
Yeah, it's me.
What?
Exactly
I'm
right.
joking.
It's Nello. He picked the Eagles. Now, I do want to get into this game. I think this is another candidate for one of the games of the week.
Yeah, top 3 of the week for sure.
I don't think this is a gimme for the Vikings, but I think it's an uphill battle for the Eagles. This is a prove it game for the Eagles. If the Eagles want to be who they say they are, and they want to strut and act like they're going to win the NFC East, this is one of the biggest tests they're going to face all year in a hot Minnesota Vikings that have a great offensive line. They have a great defensive line. They have Justin Jefferson. They have Adam Thielen. They have Irv Smith. They have a healthy Dalvin Cook,
who's going to get swallowed whole by Jordan Davis.
Hold on. Do you think Dalvin Cook's like Miles Sanders? Get out of here, bro.
Miles Sanders had 98 yards and a touchdown, boy.
He still ain't even hit
some
triple
respect
digits.
to his goddamn name.
Against the Lions.
He still ain't even hit 100, bro.
All 3 of our running backs had a touchdown this week.
That's cool.
We are going to destroy the Vikings. I just want to say one thing.
I'm just going to reiterate what this
Destroy.
gentleman said.
Destroy. We're going to destroy it. And I just want to say for my people in Minnesota, Angelo,
By the way, we have a crispy dollar bet on this game.
we do? Wow, dude, I got a lot of dollars this week. I just want to say Minnesota Vikings are going down, and it's going to be a 28-24 game. And I heard all this Minnesota bullshit when we won the Super Bowl, when they came into Philly again, and we put a stomping to that team.
Wait, what?
Stomping.
Yeah. When we won the Super Bowl, everyone was talking about Minnesota.
When they won the Super Bowl. Way back. Not last year.
We didn't play last year.
You did play in the playoffs last year.
Against Minnesota?
No, against
No, you
Tampa
played
Bay.
against-
Well, we're talking
Remember,
about
you went to that
Minnesota. We're
game.
talking about Minnesota. We did go to that game.
NFL, what have you done for me lately? You lost to the Bucs in the playoffs.
That's fine. We shouldn't have even been in the playoffs, and we were there. I told you we were going to lose anyway.
So what's the big difference maker aside from A.J. Brown that you love to keep bringing up that's going to put the Eagles over the Minnesota
Devontae
Vikings?
Smith's show shows up tomorrow. Shows up on Monday night, and Goddard's going to blow up too.
Oh,
Is this a Monday night game?
It's a Monday night game. There's 2 Monday night games this week. One starts at 7. One starts at 8.
So is A.J. Brown going to take Devontae Smith and put him on his back and still hope to measure up to Justin Jefferson on the other side? I don't know.
Darius
Who you
Slay is
have-
going to shut
Darius
down.
Slay? Bro,
And
Justin
Bradbury.
Jefferson's gonna
By the way,
have to-
Bradbury went back for a
Justin
touchdown.
Jefferson's going to have to change his name to fucking 7-Eleven because that motherfucker's always going to be
Watch.
open.
I bet you he doesn't get
Watch.
100 yards.
Oh, that's a crispy dollar bet right now. I will take that bet.
I mean, all right, fine. That's $4. Let's go. He doesn't get 100 yards.
I'm
Who
calling,
doesn't get 100 yards?
he's getting
Justin Jefferson.
100 yards, and I'm calling
Yeah.
at least 3 gritties.
3 gritties, 3 touchdowns. You're out of your mind.
You went 182 for fucking
crazy.
2 last week.
I just want to
Nah,
say,
3 is kind of a crazy
Three
call.
tutties, crazy for anybody.
I played Angelo in another fantasy league. He got his ass beat, and this week his fucking team's getting beat. Let's fucking go. Fly, Eagles, fucking fly, baby.
He does this thing where he
Your inner Cowboy
exasperatedly
fan
does-
is really angry at you
really
right now.
is.
This is not a
Your
fun joke.
inner Jerry Jones.
This is not a fun joke anymore.
But
Now
it's-
I'm over
You
it.
know why it's not fun is because it's so relatable, and everybody who's listening to the show is like, "Oh shit, he's fucking right."
You know how many Cowboys fans things, GIFs, and all that shit you're
Yeah.
going to have on this post now?
Wow.
None. Besides you. Maybe you
I am
doing
going to go
it.
post 50 immediately.
Everyone,
as soon as this is
everyone
uploaded.
in this room is
I'm going to go
posting
make one.
except for
I'm
you.
going to make the one with T.O. stands in the middle of the start.
There hasn't been a meme more true than before the season started, already eliminated from the playoffs, because that's already happened for the
That's
Cowboys.
very fun. And that,
Yeah.
I hate to say it, without Dak, it's not going to happen.
Hey, man, he's only out for 6 to 8 weeks. He can make it happen.
We are
Nah,
Penn State.
6
Fly,
to-
Eagles, fly.
6 to 8 weeks could put him down.
Yeah, it puts them in the top 10 of the draft.
Hey, maybe your boy Zeke finally eats out of that cereal bowl again or whatever he does. You know?
If Mike McCarthy realizes 21 is in the backfield.
Yeah, that's Mike McCarthy, though.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for us here at the Cigar City Sports Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to Mr. Camillo for showing up and
Muchas
giving us
gracias.
his picks and giving us his insight on college and pro. Mr. Ryan, good to see you, brother.
Always good to see you, too.
You here next week or no?
I should be here next week. I should be back in town by then.
All right.
After that ass whooping the Bills give him, does he really want to show up?
Oh, I'll still show up just so I can say bye, Eagles, bye.
You also got to collect your money.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, they're gonna think you're a stripper walking out of the bank with that
All
bicycle.
ones, right?